Imagine that one day the sun silently shuts off. Not that it explodes or disappears, but simply stops emitting its light. No warning, no prior sign. When it turns off, what happens to Earth? Hello to all science enthusiasts, and welcome to a new video. We always see the sun as a constant and unchanging entity, something that always shines above in the sky and gives light to the Earth. But the reality is that the sun, like all stars, will eventually reach the end of its life. When that happens, the world will completely change. But what exactly happens if the sun suddenly turns off? Let's start with the first 8 minutes after the sun goes dark. First of all, we need to say that it takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds for sunlight to reach Earth. So when the sun stops shining, it takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds for us to even realize it. And during those 8 minutes, nothing changes. Everything on Earth seems completely normal. All living creatures are going about their lives, and no one notices anything unusual. No one knows that something has happened. During these minutes, Earth is doing just fine. Trees and plants are still carrying out photosynthesis. Now we reach the 8 to 15 minute mark, when everything suddenly goes dark and the sunlight disappears. Everyone is in shock. During these minutes, no one really believes that the sun has turned off. Some even think it's just a simple solar eclipse. At this point, not much changes on Earth, since it's still early. The planet still holds some of its own heat. Animals and humans haven't yet faced any serious problems. Photosynthesis in plants stops, but since it's only been a few minutes, they're not in trouble yet and can still handle it. And now we've reached 1 hour after the sun went dark. The planet is in total darkness. In cities, only artificial lights are working. But electricity has started to fail in many places because some solar-powered systems have shut down. By this point, the Earth's surface temperature has dropped by about 5 to 7 degrees Celsius. The polar regions have begun freezing more rapidly. In temperate zones, the cold is clearly noticeable. Photosynthesis has completely stopped, and plants have entered a phase of using their stored energy. They don't show signs of damage yet, but if this continues, they will start to wither. Deep in the oceans, there are no major changes yet, but in the upper layers, phytoplankton have stopped functioning. This means the food chain is beginning to break down. Earth's atmosphere is noticeably cooling. Heat currents once driven by the sun have come to a halt. Imagine it's now been almost 10 hours since the sun went dark. Collective fear has turned into panic. People are desperately searching for warmth. Internet and power grids have gone down in many areas. People are slowly starting to make survival plans. At this point, the average surface temperature of Earth has dropped by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. In colder regions, temperatures have fallen below freezing. Signs of stress in plants are now visible. The leaves of some species have begun to curl and lose color. Photosynthesis is at zero, and energy reserves are running out. Flowering plants and sensitive vegetables have started to wilt. Growth has completely stopped. The upper layers of the oceans have gotten colder, and phytoplankton have essentially shut down. The cooling of the atmosphere has intensified. In many areas, thick fog, low-lying clouds, and increased air density are being observed, even in places that are usually warm. The atmosphere is slowly adjusting to a sunless state, but instability in pressure and temperature is clearly felt. Okay, imagine we've reached the end of a single day. Now it's no longer about fear, it's about survival. Fuel, food, electricity, anything needed for warmth is scarce or gone. Global communication is almost paralyzed. Violence and widespread panic have surged. By this point, the average surface temperature of the Earth has dropped by 15 to 20 degrees. Surface waters have frozen. The human body can no longer survive outside without assistance. Plants are experiencing widespread wilting, leaf loss, and a complete halt in metabolism. Light-sensitive plants are now on the brink of death. Phytoplankton have been wiped out. Whales, dolphins, and top-level predators have no food supply. Earth's atmosphere is now completely abnormal. Major wind currents have shut down. Storms and weather systems no longer form the way they used to. Air pressure is unstable and temperatures have dropped drastically across most regions. Fog, ice, and snow have increased significantly. We are now 1 week into the sun's blackout. Only governments with advanced shelters or massive resources have managed to keep a portion of their populations alive. Many have died. In most areas, there's no sign of organized government anymore. The Earth's average temperature has now dropped by about 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. Most of the planet is below freezing. Regions like Canada, Russia, and Scandinavia are completely frozen. Even areas near the equator have reached 0 degrees. Lakes have frozen over. Warmth remains only in underground shelters. All non-resistant plants have been wiped out. Trees are frozen solid. Photosynthesis has dropped to 0. Plants are no longer producing oxygen. In the oceans, most light-dependent species are gone. Large predators have either migrated to the depths or died. Marine life now survives only in warmer, active, deep-sea regions. The Earth's atmosphere is completely cold and heavy. Thick fog, extreme frost, and total air stagnation are seen across most areas. We've now reached 1 month since the sun went dark. Over 90% of Earth's population is dead. Cities are abandoned. Only small groups remain alive in underground shelters. Most essential resources like gas, fuel, and consumable food are depleted. Heat has become the most valuable thing on Earth. People are no longer trying to live. They're just trying to stay alive for a few more hours. The average surface temperature has dropped to around minus 40 degrees Celsius. Formerly temperate cities like Tehran or Madrid are frozen solid. Even the deeper layers of the Earth have started to cool. Geothermal heat can't keep up with the relentless cold in the absence of sunlight. Nearly no plant life remains on the surface. Oxygen levels are gradually declining as no photosynthesis is happening. In the oceans, plankton, surface fish, turtles, whales, almost all are dead. Only species that live deep in the ocean are still surviving. Imagine that 1 year has passed since the sun went dark. At this point, humanity is almost entirely extinct. The average global temperature has dropped to minus 73 degrees Celsius, with some regions even colder. Oceans have frozen to great depths. Ice has consumed the entire planet. Earth has become a frozen sphere. Cities are buried under snow and total ice encasement. No plant life survives on the surface. All vegetation on Earth has been destroyed. Oxygen levels have dropped significantly. In the oceans, only deep-sea organisms that rely on chemical energy remain alive. The atmosphere has become extremely thin, dry, and frigid. Frost and still air dominate the entire planet. Carbon dioxide levels are rising steadily because there's nothing left to absorb it. Earth has entered a heat death phase. We've reached the end of this video. When we think about the possibility of the sun going dark one day, it's truly terrifying. This video reminds us that the sun is not just a source of light, but the foundation of all life on Earth. Without it, everything we rely on in our daily lives would collapse. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until the next one, goodbye.